Okay, got any new insights?
No.
Maybe we will. So as for Dearest Him, while some people say, no, Hopkins was a twisted person and he liked boys rather than girls. But I don't think it's really related. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's related. I don't think it's related. Because you can be a very silly person and still be an amazing poet, and it's just two different people, you as a person and you as a poet. So people tend to confuse the two, and then they say, this man is a genius, but he has that bad habit or this bad habit. But really, it's not really related. Who cares? It's two different people.
Or it might be related.
Might be.
Might be related, but some bad habits lead to some good poetry.
Could be.
A bad habit of having insomnia might lead to lots of beautiful poems, not necessarily the likes of Hopkins ones.
It's like saying the man is great because he has a bad habit. It's stupid because lots of people have bad habits, but not all of them are geniuses. So it's just another excuse, really. But not surprising, because people like to explain things and to bend things to their liking. So if somebody is really, really clever, but he's, say, an opium eater, they say, he is clever because he's an opium eater. Let's all go and eat opium. Okay, so the dearest him that leaves, alas, away, and interesting that and not who. Not him who leaves away, but him that leaves away. Interesting. So again, cries, countless cries like that letters sent to dearest him that leaves alas away. So what are the cries? Come back to me, and he never answers. Apparently, yeah, if it's countless cries like letters sent to him who lives away, and these are dead letters. Maybe that's what he says here. When you want to reunite with somebody and this person just ignores you, or that's what you think, believe. Okay. I'm gall, I'm heartburn. So again we have heart, like in the beginning. Now it's heartburn. And again, he's talking about himself. He's fine with that. He says, I wake, I speak, I say, I mean. And now he describes himself. He says, I'm upset. My heart is burning. I don't know. I'm confused. And I can admit that I'm confused because I am confused. So on one hand, it's darkness, and where darkness, we like to think about coldness, even if it's not always the case, but his heart is burning. How is he heartburn? What is heartburn? Is it good or bad?
Well, medically speaking, heartburn is bad. And it's a sign of or at least it might lead a doctor to suspect there's something wrong with the patient's heart if he has heartburn. But of course, he doesn't mean it literally. It's like not being... So his heart leads a very active life, and now that it is burning, it feels some sort of...
Is it burning or is it burnt?
Well, it is burnt. It is burnt, and this burn aches, obviously, and that's what produces all the trouble. And again, it's not, he doesn't really appeal to his mental capacity. He doesn't say there's something wrong with my brain, there's something wrong with my cool head. He uses the metaphor that describes something very, very hot, and that relates to a heart. Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it visible or invisible?
Sometimes. Hello. It's not an it, it's a she.
It's a she, yes. Are they all 5 she cats?
No, there's one tomcat.
Okay.
Yeah, so his heart
That's
is
nice.
burning. Yeah, she's nice.
She's nice, yes, and that was a nice contribution.
Yeah, so on one hand, his heart is burning to reunite. At the same time, his heart is burnt because he has no reply, apparently. And he is upset, he is confused, he is in the darkness in the sense that he feels lost, which is why it's dark. Not only in the more broader sense of this being not the real reality, in the Christian sense, yeah, but just a funny toy reality of sorts. But also in the sense that he is lost personally. He doesn't hear, he doesn't feel the reply, he doesn't feel the connection. And that is burning his heart, and his heart is burnt. Or that's what he feels or thinks, because obviously if you get to get in touch with God before you are ready, then you will be burned badly. So it's for your safety. But still, his goal, his heart burned. Again, you may say, oh, he's writing letters, crying for help or crying to reunite, and there's no reply, so his heart burned because he sends the letters, he gets no reply, and that makes him even more upset, maybe. And then we have God. So even if till that moment we could say, well, maybe it's just a night, maybe it's just a sleepless night, and maybe it's just a friend who doesn't want to see him. But here we have God introduced to the poem, God's most deep decree. Again, the sounds, God's deep decree. Yeah, so we have heartburn and then God next to each other. So his heart burning is connected to God, but there is a full stop between his heart burning and God. So there's a kind of a barrier. This dot here, it's not just a dot between his heart burning and God. It's this barrier between two different realities. Can you see it? God's most deep decree, bitter would have me taste. My taste was me. What is it?
Well, I'm looking now again at these comments, and it seems that the earlier version read, God's most deep decree, then the second line, has me taste bitter, and my taste is me. So now, when he was finalizing it, he changed the present tense to the past tense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I can comment on why he would do that. Bitter would have me taste. My taste was me. Is it because that's no longer the case?
Maybe.
My taste was me. It is not now,
Mm-hmm.
as the original version
Mm-hmm.
read. Why would God's deepest decree taste bitter? And what is? What is it?
Yeah, what is it?
Tastes
What is God's most deep decree? Or degree, you may say?
Yeah.
Because decree is like degree, very much. So what is God's most deep decree? What would you say it is?
I don't know.
And why would it be bitter? Maybe he means if you really feel God and God's commands, then it kind of makes you feel bitter because you realize how miserable and insignificant you are. Again, in the strict version of religion.
Yes.
Maybe that's what he means. Again.
And yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
No.
if you're not deep into religion and you're like, well, I haven't killed anyone, so I guess I'm fine. If you're a bit deeper into religion, you may say, oh no, I said something not nice to that person. Maybe that was a mistake. But if you're really deep into it, again, like we know saints and holy fathers, mothers, then you can feel it much more acutely than you feel the faintest traces. Then what he is now, what he feels now, would be really crude compared to what it really is if you feel it properly. What is it's like, again, what seems a smooth surface to your eye would be really bumpy and uneven if you zoom in. Yeah. Maybe that's what he means. Bitter would have me taste. My taste was me. So what he feels, this bitterness, it's not from outside. It's not like God makes him feel bitter. It's where he finds himself, how he can see himself, apparently. And of course, it's interesting construction here again. Me taste, column, my taste. Again, as in the previous line, it's some kind of separation, but one dot becomes two dots here. Interesting. Me taste, my taste. I don't know how to comment on it, but there is something going on when you do it. Definitely. Some sort of reflection, maybe. Maybe it's like coming to a mirror, and then me taste, then mirror and my taste. Maybe it's like he's looking at himself in the mirror and he can see that he's bitter inside, and it's just him and not someone, not even God, apparently. Bones built in me, flesh filled, blood brimmed the curse. Again, nice sounds, but anything else apart from sounds?
The original version, the first version, if I may, reads, my bones build, my flesh fills, blood feeds, this curse, and so on. So the original version had, again, this my flesh feels, blood feels, something like that. The final version probably just says that I am a sinner, I am cursed, all my bones, my flesh, everything is full of this curse. Either because it's me or because I am a son, I am someone who originates from Adam, who was the first sinner, and the curse, the Adam's curse, is still felt, and probably is felt even more in an even more acute manner this time.
Okay, but also you have him talking about heart, you heart, soul, and something. Where was another heart? Was there another heart?
Well, there was
Heartburn.
another heart in the very
Heartburn.
Yeah, heartburn and the heart in the third line.
So in the beginning, heart is something more abstract. Heart like spirit, or heart like soul, heart like self. But here we bring it to the material reality. Now we talk about bones and flesh and blood, more specific. Yeah. Then we have him like a construction, bones built in me. Yeah, you don't usually think of bones as being built. Again, flesh filled, blood brimmed the curse. So maybe again it's a way of saying like it's a sinful flesh. Ooh.
Yeah, and in fact, flesh and bones are the words that we often see in religious writing. They are an integral part of Psalms, for example, where a desperate state of someone is described as they were counting my bones, they were trying to decide who gets my clothes and so on. So it's a state of desolate person, a state of sort of despair of some sort.
So also it's like his desperation is not only in his mind or in his spirit, it's also in his very flesh. And it's inside him, not only in a mental way or spiritual way, but it's inside him just physically, just literally, inside his bones, inside his flesh, inside his blood. And you can't run away from your bones or your flesh or your blood. Yeah? So in some way it makes him whole, complete.
Yeah.
Because in that sense, there's no separation between his spirit and his flesh. Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay.
And of course, the order, we have beta and bones and blood, brimmed, again, sounds connecting it. And bones built in me. So first we have bones, we have the basic construction, then we have flesh to put on the bones, and then we have blood to animate it, brimming blood. And then we have the curse. We have God, God's decree, and curse in the same part of a sonnet. Which again is kind of a contradiction. Yeah, so what is the curse? Is it God's curse? Is it his own curse on himself? What is the curse?
Well, I don't know. Again, if you are Christian, you're probably not supposed to feel very happy about oneself, about yourself. You think the curse is still there. Whatever you do, you can never reach the absolute height. There's if I'm doing something nice, and it is really nice, there might be some sort of, oh, I'm such a nice person, I have done that good thing and this good thing. So even though you might do good things in reality, there's still curse in the sense that you feel proud of having done something, something you should do anyway, because you're supposed to do good things and you're supposed to refrain from doing bad things. That sort of thing. So the curse is ever present. And no matter whether you are a poet, no matter whether you are just a normal man or a normal woman who has nothing to do with poetry, no matter whether you're a saint or not, there's still this curse. And as far as I understand, the Christian tradition holds it that saints are not necessarily people who never committed any sins, because that was only possible for Jesus Christ. So saints might have sinned, but they were the ones who felt sin in a very powerful way, and were trying to do everything they could to get rid of what was sinful in them. In that respect, probably, again, I don't know anything about Hopkins' life, but his feelings are probably the feelings of a person who feels things in a very deep manner, like probably a poet should, who feels even minor vices, minor sins as being very important, because he probably thinks minor sins can lead to bigger sins, or because he doesn't really feel that saying something rude to somebody is just a minor thing. He probably sees it as a result of this curse that falls over his entire life.
And that's where free will comes in play.
Does it?
Yeah, that's the main idea of Christianity again. That you can't help being sinful in one way or another, but it's your free will whether to follow it and indulge in it or to make your stand. That's the whole idea of Christianity. Well, maybe not whole idea, but it's a major part of it. Free will. That is what makes humanity possible in the first place. Because otherwise it would be just God's mindless toys, and God doesn't want a mindless toy. So that's where free will comes in play. So even though your blood may be bringing the curse, it doesn't matter. Like you say, a holy person is not sinless. Yeah, but it's the way how you work with it, which makes a difference. Yeah. Okay. So we have lots of movement, like bones built in me, flesh filled, blood brimmed the curse, a self yeast of spirit, a dull source. What is it? Now we have a very interesting image from bakery, where spirit is like yeast. And what is a dao dao?
So the yeast is supposed to give to yeast is a thing that helps dal rise. A dal and a sour dal is probably not what someone who used yeast had in mind. So a dal is probably just like dull bread, something like stale bread, something that is something which is not exactly right.
Well, I guess that dao is bodze, which is dead or dull without a spirit to make it rise, I guess. And sours is interesting because on one hand, when we say it is sour, we don't like it. Sour is like something's wrong with it, like sour milk. At the same time, if you talk about dao, then that's what should happen to it. To use it properly, it has to get sour. So again, it's a kind of a paradoxical view. At the same time, it's good and bad. Again, it's not good, it's not bad, but how we perceive it. And again, sound, self, yeast of spirit, and dao, sours. You can feel the motion, the action just in the sound. And then I see, same as before, I say, pause, here I see, and what I see is a new idea. It's important, so it's next line. The lost are like this. The scourge to be, as I am mine, their sweating selves, but wars. So that's like the punchline, as it should be in the end of the sonnet.
Because I'm in the possession of this comment, which has the original version, it's a bit different. The lost are like this, with their loss to be their sweating selves, as I am mine, but worse. So again, the two last lines originally used a sort of a wordplay, the lost and their loss. Then the word loss was replaced by the word scourge, which is probably something much more powerful, because a scourge is something that causes lots of suffering to people.
Yeah, it's a more interesting word than just loss. So he can kind of sacrifice one wordplay because it's not very original, lost and the loss. It's something that you may expect. So instead he has something else. We have sours and scourge. And if you look at it, then a scourge has sour in it. S, then C, O-U and R. So sours and scourge, again, they are connected. And if you look at the text, then one word is just below the other in the text. So they're close together, not horizontally, but like vertically. Yeah. So somehow it's connected. These people are sour. They are not, again, maybe they're not dull, but at the same time sour, like not happy, because there's this scourge to be. And again we have not they're scourged to be themselves, but they're scourged to be. So just being is a kind of a torture to them. The lost are like this. It's their torture to be. It's their existence is really a torture, even if they don't realize it at the moment. They feel that something is terribly missing from their lives, but since they deny Christ or God or whatever God you have, really, whatever name you use, since they deny it, this darkness is endless to them. He knows that he might be in the dark, but he knows there is light behind the darkness, and he knows even if he feels bad just now, he has a chance to reunite with the greater light eventually. They don't. They are lost forever. So even being is a torture to them, because they do not know what to look for. They maybe they know, but they deny it. They don't believe in it. So it's the scourge, the torture. That's what makes them sour. Just being, to be. As I am mine. Again, a nice construction. I am mine, meaning I am myself, but I am mine. Again, I am complete, I belong to myself and to God, meaning, yeah. Their sweating selves. So his heart burn, he's burning, and they're burning too, with like a fever. They're sweating, they're ill, they're sour. Selves. And for them it's worse. Worse rhymes with curse. Yeah?
Yeah.
And of course we have mine and their again together. So it's more expressive. You have mine and there. It's close, but it's very different. Again, we're turning. So why are their selves sweating?
Are they working hard?
Mm-hmm.
Are they working hard in the direction of being lost?
Mm-hmm.
Lost forever?
Well, maybe they're working hard because they're trying to feel the void which cannot be filled unless with God's presence, because it's infinite. If it's infinite darkness, then you need infinite light to balance it, and the only infinite light is God. So you can be sweating, you can do whatever you like, and you will get nothing, because no matter how many things or efforts you will just throw into that void or darkness, it will never get filled in. Never. Because it's infinite. Maybe they're sweating because they're working, maybe they're sweating because they're sick, maybe. Maybe it's sweat because they feel the heat of hell, maybe. Maybe they're sweating in fear. Could it be?
Yeah.
But worse. So again, through the poem, what is happening? Again, it's turning. In the beginning, we may think that it's just one sleepless night. Then we realize he talks about whole humanity, whole reality. Then he talks about himself again. But here in the punchline, in the closing lines, we see that what he really means to say is that horrible as it may seem, but if you are lost, it's much worse than that. So his final message is that you may be in darkness, but it doesn't matter much. But if you're lost, then you can't even begin to imagine.
Yeah.
And again, interesting how he makes a self something physical which can be sweating. The same as he turns to the physical side when he says that the curtain in his bones and flesh and blood. I think maybe this talk about yeast and Tao, maybe it's referring to something in the New Testament, one of the stories there, but I'm not sure. I'll need to check it. Do you remember any stories about Tao in the New Testament? I just forgot to have a look.
I only remember these words about salt that loses its power. And becomes good for nothing.
Maybe it's really from the Testament. Maybe he really says it. How you...
Well, at least...
Parable of the leaven. What is it?
Yeah. At least we remember that when Adam and Eve were...
the parable of the yeast. What does it say? So a woman adds a bit of yeast to a big quantity of flour, and overnight the whole big flour would be yeasted, affected. And again he said, to what I shall compare the kingdom of God? It is like leaven, that yeast, that a woman took and hid in 3 measures of flour until it was all leavened. So again, it's like you have something small, a small idea, a small seed. You put it into something big, and it affects the whole thing. It doesn't have to be big and fair. So even if you have that much of faith, then it's not a problem for you. So self-yeast of spirit, Dao sours. Maybe that's what he refers to. So the lost ones do not have this yeast to make them alive. They refuse it, they throw it away rather than put it into the flour, apparently. And then they can be sweating all they like, but their sweat will not rise the Tao. Only yeast will, only spirit will. Phew! Anything else here?
No, I don't think so. Well, it might be interesting also to, now that I think of it, because as far as I understand, Hopkins also wrote some sermons and some letters are available. It might be interesting to see how all this is reflected in the rest of his writings. It might be an interesting exploration.
Well, if you find an interesting text, it could be a letter, it could be a poem, could be something else, you can always send it to me. I'll have a look at it, see if we can talk about it. Why not?
Okay.
Right, hey home. Well, if that's all. If that is all.
Okay.
then maybe we should go and make some bread, make some dough, whatever. Okay.